Think about how much tech you use every day. Your phone, a laptop, gaming console, social media, AI. It's everywhere. For the 2026 legislative session, in order for you to get a front row seat to the legislative process, the Teach with TVW team will be tracking and sharing information on bills related to potential government regulation of technology for minors. You will learn about this legislation while also learning about the extensive process bills must go through to become law. So, back to the technological front. Adults have tons of access to technology, but what about kids and teens? What should their access be? Should the government be able to control what kids and teens see on their phones? Lawmakers just kicked off the 2026 legislative session on January 12th, and these questions are front and center at the Washington State Legislature right now.
Perch Parker with the Governor's Office, testifying in support of House Bill 2025. This is governor request legislation.
One bill requested by the governor focuses on regulating the use of AI chatbots by minors. Members of the executive branch, like the governor, can request legislation be filed, but because they are not members of the legislative branch, they cannot file bills themselves. Representative Lisa Callan is the prime sponsor of House Bill 2225, and she explained her reasoning for sponsoring the bill.
The Children's Healthy Youth Survey, which is a self-reporting survey that our students get every 2 years, 30% of our 10th graders have persistent depressive feelings. 69% report having consistent anxious feelings. That can be up to 55,000 just 10th graders that are in this state of mind. And 70% of our teenagers have used a companion bot, have had an experience with it.
So, here's the condensed version of what the bill would do if it passes in its current form. AI chatbots would have to clearly tell users they're talking to AI. Companies would need to make a real effort to figure out if the users are under 18. If the user is a minor, companies would have to take extra steps to block explicit content and prevent emotional dependency on the chatbot. The bill has already been introduced in both the House and Senate and had its first public hearing on January 14th in the House Technology, Economic Development, and Veterans Committee.
And today we have public hearings on 3 bills.
Remember, all bills are required to have a public hearing to move forward in the legislative process. So, at that hearing, lawmakers heard from people on both sides of the issue. The majority of the 25 people who signed up to testify spoke in favor of the bill.
We're seeing a new set of manipulative designs emerge to keep teens talking with AI companions about such highly personal topics. These designs take advantage of adolescents' underdeveloped self-control abilities, increased self-focus, and heightened social sensitivity, placing them at greater risk than adults of forming unhealthy attachments to AI companions.
Someone using an AI companion chatbot while in a vulnerable mental state may not be able to question or validate what the AI tells them. In those moments, the responsibility should not fall on the user. It must fall on the developers of these systems to ensure that strong safeguards are in place.
But emotional manipulation is done by design in order to keep people engaged. You need to give them an incentive to change their behavior.
Those who signed up to testify against the legislation, many representing the tech and business industries, were concerned that this legislation could have unintended consequences for all industries using AI chatbots.
The bill is driven by extreme cases using chatbot companions, yet it would regulate a much broader set of AI tools that Washington companies use every day for customer support, education, and mental health resources. The risk is legislating based on rare, horrific outliers rather than the real structure of the technology or the deeply complex human factors that drive suicide. House Bill 2225 would impose sweeping liability on companies for human behavior they do not control and outcomes they very simply cannot predict through software alone.
There were also those who had additional concerns about the constitutionality of regulating speech.
Regulating expressive tools like AI means this committee is making profound judgments about what your constituents may say and hear.
Things move fast. If this bill is going anywhere, it has to be scheduled for a vote out of committee soon. So the prime sponsor, the committee members, and other stakeholders will have to work together to move this bill forward. Stay tuned. Next week, we'll keep tracking what lawmakers decide about AI chatbots and whether the state might step in to limit what lawmakers are calling addictive feeds for minors. Think Instagram or TikTok.